Meteorologists are at a loss to explain what is causing this weather and why it has taken flight to dry.
It is the agenda for the 21st century you're living in today. For a brave new world where everything that you cherished and held true will no longer exist.
The wildfires started 3 days ago and are still tearing across central and northern Israel. Tens of thousands of Haifa residents have fled, walls of flame raging through central neighborhoods of Israel's third largest city. The fires are burning in multiple locations, fueled by unseasonably dry weather and strong winds. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other officials suggested the fires may be arson, with Netanyahu saying any fire caused by arson would be considered terrorism. Hundreds of homes have been damaged, but no deaths or serious injuries were reported. Still, parts of Israel haven't seen any rain for months, and forecasters warn tinder-dry conditions are still ahead.
Yo, we need him. Yo, whoa. Yo, whoa.
Police in Israel have arrested 13 people suspected of arson. Since Tuesday, wildfires have rampaged across central and northern Israel, at least some of which have been started deliberately. Palestinian firefighters have joined the Israelis, and help has come from Turkey, Greece, Cyprus, Croatia, Italy and Russia. Egypt and Jordan have also offered to help bring the blazes under control.
A strong magnitude 7 earthquake has shaken the coast of Central America. It struck around 154 kilometers southwest of Puerto Triunfo in El Salvador at a depth of 33 kilometers, according to the U.S. Geological Survey.
Costa Ricans prepare for the worst as Hurricane Otto bears down on the small Central American country. Hundreds of families in low-lying coastal areas left their homes as the storm churned just off the east coast. Even before making landfall, Hurricane Otto dumped heavy rains on some areas of Costa Rica, leading to flooding. Costa Rica's president declared a state of emergency. Heavy wind and rain slammed into neighboring Panama on Tuesday, leaving a trail of destruction. Government officials said about 50 houses were destroyed by mudslides. At least 3 people were killed in Panama by the effects of Hurricane Otto, both by falling debris, mudslides, and flooded rivers.
بردي يمشي مع الوادي. بردي.
Is that okay?
Authorities in Germany have decided to kill 92,000 poultry after a series of high-risk H5N8 bird flu cases have been confirmed across the country. The strain has been repeatedly found in wild birds in recent days, and the authorities have tightened sanitary rules for farms. Several other European countries have found cases of the strain in the past few weeks, and some have ordered that poultry be kept indoors. Farmers are now worried that it will hit their profits just as the Christmas season begins.
Well, China's first emperor is giving up new secrets more than 2,000 years after his death. Emperor Xian Shuang's famous terracotta warriors were discovered by chance outside Xi'an 40 years ago. Archaeologists digging around this have found pits containing the remains of people who were buried alive when the emperor died. They also found buried animals, some real and some made from terracotta, and stone helmets and armor, heavy and fragile and useless in battle.
In the aftermath of media coverage of the US presidential election campaign and Britain's vote to quit the EU, the Oxford Dictionaries Group declared post-truth to be its international word of the year.
Protesters planning to get in the way of Black Friday on Chicago's Michigan Avenue today. Black Lives Matter and other groups trying to bring attention to the fatal police shooting of Laquan McDonald.
A woman and her child have been killed at a refugee camp on the Greek island of Lesbos after an apparent gas explosion. 3 other children were seriously injured in the blast, which happened while the woman was cooking. It happened at the Moria camp, where these pictures were taken in October. Police say migrants again set fire to the camp after the explosion, burning a large part of it. The past few months have seen several incidents at refugee camps on Greek islands, where the number of migrants is more than double their capacity.
صاير لا متعود زربان هذا خطير هذا متعاونين ذولا ايرانيين متعاونين ما يمكن انفجار
The US military presence in the Asia-Pacific is growing, according to a report released by China's National Institute for South China Sea Studies. The trend is not going to change anytime soon. The report shows that since the Obama administration took office in 2009, the US military has been shifting its focus and giving priority to the region. By 2015, the US had 368,000 military personnel there. That's more than half of total US troops overseas. 97,000 are stationed to the west of the international date line. The US Department of Defense released a proposed budget request for $583 billion next year, almost the same as this year. The activities of the US military have also been increasing and upgrading. The report says this literally makes China the #1 target for US close reconnaissance in terms of frequency, scope and means. Despite their frictions in the South and East China Seas, this has not interrupted high-level dialogue mechanisms and important exchange programs between the two sides. China is committed to building a relationship based on the principle of non-conflict, non-confrontation, mutual respect and win-win cooperation.
We do stand on the edge of a great new era.
We built this great industrial powerhouse.
The whole idea of industrial capitalism in the West, government that was going to invest in infrastructure.
It is a time for pathfinders and pioneers.
What happened to the American century?
The share of income that we put into infrastructure has gone down starkly.
If you travel around the country, there's just not that much that's new.
What happened to America's ideal of progress?
All these things that had been established after the Great Depression fell apart.
You'll see that whole streets are just closing down.
A community that's undereducated, underemployed.
Baltimore was a blue-collar town. Now the air quality is wonderful because there's no industry here anymore. It's beyond light.
Detroit had a population of about 2 million people in 1950. It's now a little over 600,000.
A huge percentage of the budget goes to the military. This is an economy that's based to a large degree on killing people.
If you were to cut the military budget in half, we'd have a depression in the United States.
So they're literally working full-time and making poverty wages.
You have 1,600 vacant houses. It's insane.
They said, let's save a few dollars and pump the water in from the Flint River.
Decades and decades of being ignored.
Americans are finding themselves in a desperate situation.
They're new slaves. A lot of talented people here, but you will never know because of the reputation we got.
If you're an entrepreneur right now in America, the last thing you want to do is take risk. This is not a world I want to take risk in.
America is not the pillar of democracy and freedom that it was once seen to be.
Here we are, naked in front of the world. It's a real tragedy.